Hey y'all, it's Ashlee Knipe.
And I'm Blair Nodine, and we're Joy in the Junk.
The podcast where we bring our whole selves to the table.
Mess and all.
And find Jesus right in the middle of it.
We're two women seeking truth in Scripture, hope in the hard places, and joy that doesn't wash away when life gets muddy.
So pull up a chair, grab your coffee or sweet tea, and let's talk life, faith, and all the junk in between. Because with Jesus,
there's joy that lasts. It's Joy in the Junk. Welcome to the table. We're glad you're here. Hey, girlie.
Hey.
What was that little face for?
I don't know. I just,
Just scrolling the face a little bit. How goes it?
Good. I'm tired. It's Monday.
I'm in a different location. You'd think I was a world traveler as many rooms as I have done this podcast in. Yeah. But anyway, I'll tell you my joy since that's part of where I am.
Okay.
Crystal and I made a trek to the beach. We're cleaning up their place down here just for the spring clean or whatever else. And it really is nice. This morning I was washing the window or the door or whatever, and I opened the door. It felt so good outside. And Crystal stepped out and she said, "Oh, it really is cold here," because the wind's really howling and the sun's not out much, but it's beautiful. Yeah. It's beautiful. So yeah. And we're about finished cleaning.
A day at the beach is a good day any day. Whether it's cold, hot, rainy.
For sure.
A rainy day at the beach is better than a rainy day at home, in my opinion.
That's true. We haven't made it out to the sand yet. We will, but anyway, It's good to be here. Yeah. Two hands working makes, the workload a little bit lighter. So that's nice.
Yeah. Anytime I need to come down and clean a beach house, you just call me because I'm game.
Exactly.
I'll clean.
She's hiding, and I might trick her later and say the podcast is over and her come out or whatever. But anyway, she's hiding in the other room.
I'm glad I got to meet her though before we started.
She's precious.
She is. She's so cute.
She is, darling. She is. So tell me your joy.
My joy this week coming up because it's spring break week.
Oh, gotcha. I forgot about that.
Yes. So my kid's out of school. I slept in this morning. Not even gonna lie. When I woke up, it was 7:00, and I said, "You know what? Your girl ain't getting up at 7:00 today. I'm gonna sleep in a little bit." But I didn't sleep. I just laid. And it was nice to lay there till about 8. And then I said, well, I probably should get up. And it was nice. So I don't really have any grand plans this week. But, we're just I'm enjoying, my husband's taking the end of the week off. So we're just going to just enjoy the spring break week and kid being out of school, husband being off, and my house is pretty clean. My mom's cleaned my house, so that's a joy. She's been cleaning and everything. You can actually see the couch in my bedroom, praise God. So, no clothes on it. So that's a good win, I think. A really good win.
I would say it's funny talking about cleaning. We're cleaning this and we're cleaning baseboards and things. And it's so funny because I don't remember cleaning baseboards in my house in ever.
What? That is my pet peeve. I'm sorry. I know if anybody listens and they Ashlee is she's such a diva, but that is if I go to somebody's house and nobody's going to invite me to their house because they're going to think I'm inspecting it. But when I go to somebody's house or even not, I don't really look at it and go, oh, they're dirty. But that's something I look at. When I go to in my own house, I immediately go, or my baseboard's looking dirty, or there's smudges on the wall, or the light switch is dirty, or around the handle, my garage door needs painting, the one that goes out to my garage, because it's the paint's worn off of it. And it icks me every time I walk out my garage because I can't, there's just something weird about that kind of stuff that freaks me out a little bit.
Well, I vacuum my baseboards, but we have been on our hands and knees scrubbing the baseboards with.
Yeah. I mean, I vacuum mine, but they could actually use a good, scrubbing, wiping them down, but you're going.
Crystal's your girl. I am not. I do this because I love her, not as I enjoyed it.
Oh, see, I love that kind of stuff. I love a good deep clean, moving the furniture. I pressure washed my rug the other week. It was when we had some of those warm days and I got out in the yard and took my living room rug and not in the yard, in the grass, but in the driveway. And I literally put the pressure washer to it and detergent and all the then I got my carpet cleaner and sucked all the water out, and it looks so good. I was praise just things like that just make your house feel so much better. and like it
I'm
just.
a good cleaner. Now I keep my house. Well, you've been to my house. I keep my
Oh
house
yeah, your
clean.
house is spotless. Yeah.
But I don't remember scrubbing the floors like I mean, I don't remember scrubbing the floors like that. But it looks good and it smells good. And when we leave, it'll be great. But like I said, she takes great pride in that. But
Yeah.
talking about cleaning, you do feel, and you made a great point about that. You feel so much better. I do. Like coming out of town here we're just gone for 2 days. When I come home to a clean home, there's something about cleanliness. And I know that saying cleanliness is next to godliness is not in the Bible, but I do enjoy a clean house. I enjoy when things around me are clean.
Yeah, I'm the same. Like, I don't want to go on vacation and come back home to like a dirty house, because I feel like it just, like, you go home and you come home from being relaxed and enjoying your time away, and then you come back home and you're like, ugh. Like, I usually I guess I spilled coffee on me. Sorry, squirrel. I like did my shirt and it's all wet anyway. But like, I don't like coming home. I usually try, if the house that are staying in or something like that has a washer and dryer, I wash all my clothes before I come home. So all I have to do is unpack them and put them back in the closet. But I mean, I'm not even gonna lie. Usually my clothes stay in the suitcase for a little bit.
No. I walk in the door and my suitcase is unpacked. Clothes are in the wash or whatever. Oh no, my suitcase is no lie. It is back in the closet within maybe 15 minutes. Yeah.
Wow.
I completely. Yeah.
Are you an overpacker?
Oh yes, for sure.
Yeah, me too.
Because I don't go many places. So when I go, I take just in case.
The person that says they don't go many places and you are literally in a different location every time we flip and record the podcast. Come on, Blair.
I know, but I mean, it's not like I'm going on vacation. The places I'm going is something is needed to be done. But but you're right. I really am at different locations. But yes, I'm an overpacker. I am. My sister went to Europe for 2 weeks and I think she went in an overnight bag. My shoes wouldn't fit.
But a friend of mine went to Europe for a while and she said it's different over there because like she went with like the expectation of like buying some things over there. And so she didn't pack as heavy. And also she said she rotated her outfits. Like she would like wear a top with a skirt and then that top with pants. And she's like, these people don't, I seen a meme that said, or like a video, a guy, he was like, why do we go and buy new clothes when we go on vacation? Because nobody where we going has ever seen the clothes that we have. And I'm like, that's such a good point. But I always
have an answer for that. It makes me feel better. Crystal and I had this discussion yesterday about clothes and things like that. And I think I don't buy clothes to impress you. I buy clothes because I like them. They're for me. A lot of people, and I think that comes with, and I think you have to watch that with attitudes and everything else. The arrogance I want to look good for everybody. Nope. I'm just all about, I buy it or whatever because it makes me feel good, and it's okay if you think it's cute, but if you don't think it's cute, that's fine too. Like my Easter dress and the shoes I wore, did I tell you I broke my toe?
Remember I seen you Saturday, goober.
You saw my toe even too.
Yes, anyway, I did.
I had my Easter shoes and I thought, oh my gosh, how am I going to get them on my feet? I mean, it took a lot to get them on my feet because of that toe. But
did you post your Easter dress and your shoes? Because I did not see you.
I know. I can't believe I didn't. I'll send you a picture. But I think the funny thing was I didn't do that for anybody else except me. It makes, I do those things. Now, I remember the day when I was trying to impress people. But with my clothes, because me, I wear different clothes. Not everybody gets on board with what I wear. But it's
same.
But Crystal, I really did have that conversation last night. And I said, well, would you have put those shoes with that dress? And she said, never. But I think that's, being an individual, just doing, I've got my own drum. I've got my own drum and I just do it that way. But, we have really good conversations, Crystal, like you and I do, but Crystal and I have great conversations.
My kids will sometimes say, they'll be like, Mama, you're not going to wear that, are you? And I'm like, yes, I am. And they're like, no, you're not. Did I tell you? I told you this. I don't know if I told you this. I told you the story about the windsuit. Did I tell you about that? Did I talk about that on the podcast?
You did talk about that on the podcast.
Oh my gosh. I have not worn that windsuit yet, but I mean, like listen, if it's bright and colorful.
I remember Hannah Brooks commenting on Facebook, because I remember Hannah's comment on there. She said, knowing it's a Halloween costume makes it even better.
Yeah, like, I mean, only me. Only me would do. And then yesterday, like on my Easter dress, just bought, was I painted at church yesterday. God dang black paint on my Easter dress.
Oh no.
I'm hoping I can get it out. I just haven't laundered it yet. I tried to get it out the best I could in this church bathroom with some soap and hand sanitizer.
It's made it worse.
But it's on the very back, like down near the bottom.
Oh, so, you don't see it. Don't worry about it. That's like me. I just worry about the front. Yeah, for sure. Well, hey, you brought up Saturday. I want to talk about Saturday.
Yeah, let's do. Listen,
awesome. We went to tell everybody what we went, and Ashlee and I speak, if we've talked about it before, we both speak at women's events and church functions and things like that. But when I got the call, Tracy had given her both of our names. So I guess if I couldn't, you could, or if you could and I could, whatever's. I think that's what Tracy meant when she gave us both names. But Rhonda said, I want both of you. And so we both went, and it was phenomenal. I'll be honest with you. I'm not going to lie. You were very good about it. I was a little skeptical because I didn't know how it was going to go, because I'm the one that has, I have that checklist. I have my checklist. And you can do it without checklist. I'm not quite that smart yet. But,
no, I can't. I'm just trusting the Lord. I mean, because my control freak Ashlee was struggling Saturday, because I just felt like the Lord was like, rely on me a little bit more, Ashlee, and quit trying to, I'm in you. Just rely on me. And I'm like, okay.
And you did. But when we sat down, I love, because we were going to do it how she had said, let's sit down. Y'all tell us about the podcast. And you and I both do that very well, because neither one of us wanted to stand up. We just wanted to sit in a group, just like we were sitting in somebody's living room. When we sat in our group, and then one was going to tell theirs, but it was perfect how it worked. And to say it was good to be in the house of the Lord is an understatement. It was a great morning. I mean, it really was. I was telling to Crystal, this church, Big Level, and I can say that, I hope, it is in Mill Spring. To get there, you go on some of the curviest roads.
I felt like I was like riding on a roller coaster coming up in that joker.
Listen, I hit that one curve, and it said the speed limit was 45, and it should have been 35, because I hit that curve at 45, and I thought, I mean, seriously, the road was, whatever. But when we got there and we waited each other, of course, we met in the parking lot and prayed before we went in. But there is something about, you don't have to have a church with 200 or 300 people or 1,000 people or whatever to serve the Lord. These people, they love well. And not just Rhonda. I mean, all the ladies in the room, but Rhonda's commitment to her. And I'm not sitting here, I'm plugging God. I'm not plugging, her, the church, or anything else.
Right.
But it shows me you don't have to be this big, grand community to do the things for the Lord. It takes one. And this small group that we were with that day, oh my gosh, they love the Lord. And to watch how did you read that? Of course, I read it. You probably didn't, but the notes from their meeting, their minutes from their last meeting.
Yes, you did, yeah.
I mean, they are absolutely involved in their community, bringing people in. It was so refreshing, and it was so humbling, because do we do that? Do our church?
The thing I appreciated is when we walked in, everybody was so welcoming and so loving. I think that's probably the most welcome. And this is not to knock any church that I've ever spoke at, or any church that I've ever painted at, or anything like that. But I honestly believe that when we went in there not knowing anybody, you or I, either one,
right?
I felt so welcome when we walked in the door. And I think that's the thing that, and this is going to sound like I'm fussing, but I'm not. That's the thing that a lot of churches, I think, miss, just as the body of believers. When I say church, I mean the body of believers.
The big thing, not the little.
We miss kindness and welcoming, and being open to people that maybe, don't look like us. We don't know anything about them. They may not all the gamut of things. I'm not going to go through the whole list, but I just was like, man, this is so awesome how welcoming they were. And to talk about just like the spread of food. I know you couldn't eat any of it, but like
Ridiculous.
the
I have
spread
never
of
seen
food,
so much food.
everything I put in my mouth was phenomenal. The decorations, just down to the detail, were so pretty. And I just was like, they put on such an, because here's the thing is, you think when you pull up to a little church in Mill Spring, North Carolina, that, it's a little country church. Listen, I'm from the country, but like you pull up in this little country church, and I went to little small country churches just like this. But I would have thought I was sitting in First Baptist downtown Spartanburg. And it was just the gift basket they gave us. I opened it up last night.
Oh, listen.
And just like, oh my gosh, like the thoughtfulness. And it was just such a sweet thing. And just to sit and talk with all of these ladies and just, minister to them, tell them our testimonies, tell them our story and how we got to where we're at. And man, it was cool.
And I think too, the personalities, but you could really see the intentionality of every lady there. Mm-hmm. Everybody was intentional, whether they came to serve or be served, because some were there. You could tell some were there like we were served. But then the ones that were serving, there's something about that community. And I'm sure I can say that, the minute you said that about kindness, I remember Josh Brown at Lake Bowen. The church is huge. It's a great church. It's a big church. Josh Brown, he does that, and he makes sure that kindness is shared. And that stands out to me because Josh really does. He is very intentional about his. So it's not that you can't have that in the big churches. You can.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But where I'm coming from with that, this small church didn't have to be that intentional. They didn't.
I agree.
But it was phenomenal. And I do like seeing, and I think it's just that light that shines. Because Rhonda loves those girls, let's be honest. I mean, she loves those women. And she loved us pretty well, too.
She did.
And then how about the miracle? Of course, we can't say her name or anything like that. But, you and I were privy to a miracle.
Oh, yeah. When she walked up to us and she said, I just want to share my testimony with you. Mm-hmm. And she proceeds to tell us of how she was shot in the head. And literally shot here, and it comes out through her forehead, which makes no literal sense in the sense of somebody getting shot. And when I tell you, I was telling my husband about it. I was like, when I tell you this woman, when this woman looking at her looked no different than me and you. And if you would have told me that you were shot in the face, I was like, I hope I don't sound mean, but I'm like, you literally don't look like you've been shot in the head. Like that to me was just it was just amazing. Like to stand there and hear her story. So awesome.
Well, and I think her wanting to share it with us, which is exactly what we want people to do. When we share what God has done in our lives, we want other people to share too. I mean, I think that's what we're doing is we want others to go and make disciples. We want to do what God called us to do. We love one another. But she couldn't wait. If you think about it, she was pretty excited to get up and tell us.
Oh, I know.
Her testimony is so profound. And then her mom rubbed my arm a couple of times. And it's because I think what we were saying to her is what her mom had been saying. But you're quicker to listen to someone else than you are your mom.
Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure.
So I think it's things like that God allows us to be part of. I think to me, that was a biggie. And like you said, it's miracles happen all the time. This is a grand miracle. Let's be honest.
Oh, man. I was just like, wow. I couldn't believe it. Like, I could not believe it.
Me either.
But it was so good. Like, it was
I think that's the thing. We saw it. I mean, we happened to, I grabbed her chin at one point just because, but I can't, how God did that. And it's got to be God. There's no other answer for that. There's no way that could have done that and then come out in that small little spot in her head. There's no way.
Yeah.
So anyway.
And there's a verse in Luke, I don't remember where it's at, but it talks about, saying return to your home and declare how much God has done for you. It's a specific story. And I'm like, we forget to share how much God has done for us. We forget to share that. And I don't remember I'll look it up here in a minute. I'll get my phone out and look it up. But I don't remember what the story is, but it's Jesus telling someone, go and share what God has done for you. Go back and tell people. And I think we forget to tell people, because I made the statement, my testimony is not this grand, thing, kind of like maybe yours is, but it still has the power to change lives.
Absolutely.
Through the Holy Spirit, not because of what I've been through or anything like that, but it's just, I think we take for granted sometimes when you hear, listen to me, a great testimony. And I tell my kids this all the time. I'm like, I love to hear a testimony of someone that has never touched alcohol, has never, because we look at these testimonies of somebody that's grew up in church and never really did anything wrong or lived a pretty, moral, upstanding life. Right. We look at those people and go, well, they ain't been through nothing. They can't relate to me.
But they have been through something.
But they still were sinners. They were still lost. No matter how moral they were born into sin, and they were still sinners, and they still had to ask Jesus to save them. They still had to ask for forgiveness and repent of their sin. So, but I tell my kids, I'm like, man, what a testimony that is, to say to somebody, I've never had to, I don't know what alcohol tastes like. I don't know what cigarettes taste like. I don't know what drugs can do to my body, because God has protected me from all of that. And what a great testimony that is too. Huge. Even on the flip side, the other side of the testimony as well.
Well, I would tell you something there, and I'll be the first to admit, I would love to have that be my testimony. Yeah. I would love to have been brought up in church. I would love to have had devotions with my parents. I would have loved to know scripture. I'm thinking right now, it just came to my heart, Lauren and Clint Sullins. Clint's is in glory now. He's been gone a minute. He was a pastor. But I remember being in their home, and to me, it was walking on holy ground. And I mean that. It was so, the way their children, they led their children so well, the way that they were a couple, a loving couple, all the things. It was, to me, I saw, truthfully, at their house, I saw what I missed. I saw what I missed. Now, whatever God called them, I get it. Those girls will never do those things that I did. They'll never make those choices, because they just won't. But I also know that they have to fight temptation. I gave into temptation. They've got to fight that temptation. Do you know? So I think what you're saying is exactly right. That I would, like I said, I would love that backstory. Crystal and I coming down here, she had it tough growing up, and we were sharing testimonies and things like that. Things that would we like to have been different? Absolutely. And I can think of one person now. He has never had alcohol. He has never had any of those things. And, he takes such pride in that, because and he'll tell you flat out, God allowed me to have God gave me the strength to not submit to those things, to not give into those temptations. It's not that they didn't come at him, but he didn't give into them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm there now.
The story is from Luke 8, where it, verses like 30 through like 40 or something like that. It's where Jesus restores a demon-possessed man, and they went it's when he puts the demon in the pigs, and he tells the man from whom the demons had gone out. He said, Jesus sent him away, saying, "Return home and tell how much God has done for you." So the man went away and told all over town how much Jesus had done for him. And I'm like, and you think about the lady at the well, the woman, the Samaritan woman at the well.
She's the first evangelist in my.
She went straight from there, and she said, I met a man that told everything about me. He knew everything about me, and she was sharing Jesus, and I think we forget to like tell people, this is what I've been through, because I'm not proud of a lot of things that I've been through, and some things I haven't shared with people that I've been through, because it's just I've kept it in here, and I'm okay with that. But also, I need to share it, and I need to tell somebody about it, because it might help somebody else. But but I also believe in, sometimes you don't have to tell everybody everything, because I'm that person. We that people that we tell everybody everything, and we like,
do.
When I say we tell everybody, we don't tell secrets. We ain't supposed to tell, but when it comes to ourselves, sometimes we just kind of like. Bleh.
If you could, I did that yesterday. I can't do it that gracefully as you did. I did that in Sunday school yesterday. When I was teaching yesterday, I was bleh, yeah. To the point where Sharon asked me, she said, "What is in your water bottle?" I really did. I was a little over the top in Sunday school yesterday. But I think, like you, there are things in my life that I've never shared because God doesn't get any glory for it, or nobody's going to get a blessing from it. Do you know, there's some things that just I don't have to talk about. I endured them. God knows I endured them. Some I handled well, some I did not. But he's delivered me from that. So, but if there's ever an opportunity, which you and I talk about all the time, the Holy Spirit gives us exactly what to say in the very moment we need to say it, like he is right now with us. So in those moments, if I am with someone that I'm to share my testimony with, whichever part of my testimony, because I'll be honest, when I spoke at your event at Woven, I talk about trusting the Holy Spirit. I didn't even have a piece of paper. Remember, I didn't have anything. I was petrified because God had never done that to me before. He always lets me be prepared. I sat on that pew. I spoke after Melissa. I said, "God, it's almost my turn." She's praying. It's almost what you gonna do. And he did. Yeah. And he made me talk about bipolar much more than he did prison, if you remember. Yeah. And there were 4 women that came up to me because they had children that were bipolar. So I want to tell you something. You trust the Lord for what you're supposed to talk about.
That's exactly right. Yeah. And and sometimes if you just allow him to and I'm learning this, I'm 45 years old. I've been saved a long time, but it's crazy that I'm starting to lean into this. Not saying that I haven't ever, but I'm starting to be more aware of the fact that I'm not, yes, we have, God is, omniscient, all the things, he knows all the things, and we have free will, but I feel like sometimes I'm in control of everything, and so I feel like sometimes I need the Lord is slowly, it's a sanctification. I think it's just sanctification, and him making me more holy and more like him is learning to say, "Ashlee, rely on me a little bit more, not on what your abilities are and what you think you can do and what you think you can handle. I will let you know what you can do and what you can handle, and you just trust me. You just follow me and be obedient." And that's hard. I'm a rule follower. I like to follow the rules.
For sure.
But obedience is hard for me because I think I know better a lot of times, even if I don't, me and my husband, we butt heads more than anything over the fact that I'm right and he's wrong all the time. And I'm going to be honest, 9 times out of 10, he's usually right. But by grannies, I'm right, And so I'm learning to let go of that mentality that Ashlee's always right. Yeah, you would think I'd have figured it out by 45. But I don't know. I think it's just one of those things that I wasn't able to figure out when I was younger. Yeah. It's just one of those things where you struggle with things like that. And the older you get, you learn, I don't really want to be in control. I don't really need to be in control. I don't need to have it all figured out. So that's
mine. The example I use, it's, it just so happens, how God works these things out, doesn't he? The trust in him more, because if God has opened a door for me to speak somewhere, if he's allowed that to happen, the enemy is not going to open a door for me to go. I don't think he is, to go speak at a church. I just don't. I just think that's God's given us those opportunities to share him with other people.
Yeah.
So he's going to give me the words to say. Granted, we talked about the be prepared part and whatever, but I think being prayed up is being prepared. I do go over my scripture and things like that. But where I'm going with this is he truly gives you the words to say when he wants you to say them. I can be prepared. I always pray before God. What do you want me to talk about? I'm speaking April 25th. with at Amber Williams Church, and they're speaking on prayer or whatever. I've asked God, what do you want me to talk about? And I ask him and I wait on him. And sometimes he gives me something right then and sometimes he doesn't. And I have to trust him for it. But talking about the control, we had the 10 and break. Did I tell you about our 10 and break? Well, we talked about it Saturday. We had talking about on Maundy Thursday, the mandate, the command that Jesus gave us, when he washed the disciples' feet. And then, he's called us to love one another. And that was a way that he did it. And we had that, and then we went over to the church, but we ate beforehand and had the Lord's Supper. It was a phenomenal experience. But Olivia planned it great. Crystal and I love to serve together. And so we were doing cups of ice and everything else. Did you know this is how much I wanted to control? I have never been so embarrassed. Of course, nobody knows it. Well, the world's going to know it now. Whoever listens, the 4 people that listen to us are going to know.
10 listeners.
Okay. But I was filling cups of ice and somebody came to help or whatever. If somebody offers to help, let them help. It's a blessing for everybody. Again, many hands makes light work. But I wanted to make sure the ice was in the cup right. Ashlee, I have never been so embarrassed. And now I'm learning to confess things too. But I was controlling a cup of ice. That's how much control I wanted. Actually, that's sad. But it was such a great thing that God showed me. Look what you're trying to control. There's a lot I have a lot more things to do, for you to do for me, sister. But you got to let go of a cup of ice first before I'm going to move you to do other things. But it was so enlightening.
And two, I'm learning that, if we don't steward what we have well, we can't be, what's the word? We can't desire more if we're not even stewarding what we have right now well. I can't sit and ask God for more things and want him to do more and kind of this bless me Lord kind of mentality if I'm not even stewarding what he's blessed me with already well. And so I'm reminding myself when I set the table spiritually set the table for my life or for the guests in my life or whatever, however you want to look at it. When I'm preparing that table, I got to make sure that the table's ready and that I'm stewarding the table that I have and the guests that arrive well, because he's not going to bring more guests. He's not going to make my table bigger and bring more guests. If I can't even take care of the table, that the small little 4-seater that I got, I can't expect him to give me a banquet table, Right. And I'm trying to remind myself of that and be a good steward of the small things that I have in my life that are going on, and I have to rein in my dreaming a little bit sometimes and ground myself. And God has surrounded me with people that rein me in a little bit. You're one, my husband's one, because I am a dreamer and I don't want people to squash my dreams. I don't want to be the person that my dreams are, squashed, but I also know the visions that God has given me in my mind and the things that he pours into me. And I'm like, I see them and it's, getting from point A to point B and point B to point C. You gotta make sure that A is, you understand. Well, it's kind of like building in math, you can't go from addition to, trigonometry. You gotta build up in your spiritual as well.
And I think that's a great point when you call Kevin and myself, or neither one of us squash your dreams, and we want you to have your dream. We just have to.
Kevin does squash them sometimes, Blair.
Okay, I do not.
Because he don't let me have no swimming pool, and I think the Lord said I need a swimming pool.
I think he does too. No, you live too far away. That doesn't help me.
I'm kidding. Sorry, go ahead.
If you live closer, it would be great. But I don't think it's squashing your dreams as much as just reining you in a minute. You're going to get to go, but what you're doing is you're going before the bell dings.
Yes.
You need to. There's certain, and I think that was such a great example. And I never saw myself as that person until you recognized it or said it about me. But with doing the podcast, you were ready. You asked me to do it. And then 2 weeks later, we were going live. And I thought, not quite. But you see what I mean? But I think that was such a light bulb in my life, because that's a good thing for me to have, to not
Yeah,
be,
for sure.
because I'm pretty much run and gun, but not as much as you do. So I think that's been helpful. But but we complement one another. And I think in the body of Christ, we're doing that book. I'm a church member by Tom Rainer, which we talked about that before. But it talks about being that church member. It takes all of us. If we didn't have the dreamers like you, we'd never have anything new.
Right.
So we need those
and
things.
we're stones, joined
Living
together.
stones. Right.
And so we have to remind ourselves that, Jesus is the cornerstone.
Right.
And then we build on top of all of who he is. And and I'm thankful. Like it took us months to get prepared to do this podcast. So it wasn't, we couldn't have done it. I don't think we could have done it, but we would not have done it well if we would have done it so fast.
Correct.
So I think those are the kind of things, like you said, you were like, okay, Ashlee, we're going to do it, but we're not going to do it in 2 weeks. Okay. Calm down.
Let's take a minute. Yeah. Let's take a minute. Take a deep breath. Yeah. Let's take a deep breath. We got to find a microphone first.
Yes, a microphone. Now we don't even use the dang microphone. So,
but I think
we'll get back to that,
Yeah. But I think for me, the fun part is that God keeps opening these doors because we are obedient in the things that he's put in front of us. So he starts opening more doors. Like you said, your table, now we're at a 6-seater instead of 4-seater. Or let's go back. We were a 2-seater and now we're maybe at a 4-seater, but God's opening. But once he finds us obedient in those things, I'll be honest with you, the girls in Sunday school laughed at me about that cup of ice. That I will never look at a cup of ice. Truly put me in check that, hey, Blair, and it's the small things. And I think that when you become sensitive to the Holy Spirit, he'll speak through a cup of ice.
Yeah.
You're holding on to things that you don't need to hold on to. You've got this tight grip on things in your life that you need to let me handle. You need to let me take care of. And listen, I'll tell you this quick and I'll hush about it. But sister called me the other day, and Friday was a really bad day for me. I just did not have a good day. And my emotions were off the charts, and my personality just wasn't what I usually am. So it was a bad day, and sister called.
You were a little manic when I talked to you.
I was a lot manic.
You were very manic.
Yeah. So of course I took your advice and went home and got sunburned. So but it worked. I laid out in the sun. But sister had called, and it took her back because I hadn't done something that I'm known to do, like checking on my dad. I hadn't called that morning because I was not in a position that I could call him. And I told her, and it took her back that I hadn't done it. And she said, you should have called and you should have told me. And you know what? I should have, because Porter wants to know. She cares and she wants to know. I don't have to hide things like that. I'm bad to hide those. Crystal, who's in the other room, Crystal, she always knows. You recognized it on the telephone. Rick's the first to see it. But I think being able to talk about that when I'm in the midst of it, in the throes of it, is very healthy. I don't do it often, but it's very healthy. And I will say, the conversation with you, the conversation with Porter, and then the one with my girl, it truly helped. And be honest with you, it's quite therapeutic. I came home, I put everything, and you did tell me on the phone, Porter said the same thing, but you said, put it all down, chill out, put it all down. I literally got in a chair, sat out in the sun, and laid there and listened to some music and fell asleep. And sometimes in life, girls, we just have to stop. I
think we forget too that like our bodies, we're a physical body, we're a spiritual body, and we're part of a bigger surrounding of earth and nature, and all of the, you can go all woo-woo with that if you want to. But what I'm saying is, like, we are not designed, I truly believe our bodies are not designed to constantly have this in front of our face, a computer in front of our face, to be I think overall, we're all very overstimulated, and I made the statement to my husband last night laying in bed. I was laying there and I was like, I had a headache. And I was like, can you rub my back? Like, can you rub my shoulder before so I can go to sleep? Because he said, he was asking me about, how I was feeling. And I was like, I feel like I've just been very overstimulated today, because we painted at my church yesterday.
It's beautiful. I saw that.
Thanks. And so we had to prepare for that. We went up there Friday night, got everything ready. Then Saturday was a busy day getting Easter stuff. We spoke it that morning. Then I went and tried to find Easter things. And then me and Kevin went out shopping Saturday night. And then Sunday was Easter Sunday. And, that's like the church prom. I seen somebody mention that. I thought that was so funny. I was like, that is totally the church prom, where everybody gets all dressed up and they match and they all look so cute. And I liked 587,000 pictures on Facebook yesterday of everybody in their Easter clothes. They were all beautiful. And so I feel like I was just, from the whole weekend, was so overstimulating. I was just, and then when I got home, we ate lunch. My mom cooked, we ate lunch, and I had a friend of mine and her daughter, or they're both my friends, but they're mom and daughter. She lost her husband, and she lost her dad a few months back. I think I mentioned that a little bit on the podcast, and I spoke at his funeral. And so we invited them over for lunch, and that was really good because I've been so busy I hadn't really got to see them. And so we sat around and talked for a little bit, and then I crashed with a nap and woke up from a nap with a headache. So it was kind of like I tried to rest, but then I woke up feeling bad, and then I had to go to the church and pack up all my stuff from where I painted. Me and my son drove up there real quick and packed it all up. But the point I'm trying to get to, I think, is that we're all so overstimulated, and we're all busy. I'm no busier than you. You're no busier than the next person. We're all busy in different ways, but it's learning to say, okay, I've got to unplug whatever my unplug looks like. My unplug looks like sleeping in. My unplug looks like laying my phone down and saying, I'm not going to look at it for an hour. I had some good advice when I was at my business retreat the other week. They did a thing called Your Perfect Day. And they said, write down what your perfect day looks like. And you think about that in your head. You think about, well, what does Blair's perfect day look like? And it was like, well, what time would you get up? Would you drink coffee? What would you drink to wake you up? What would you do on your perfect day? And so we all sat there and we made these lists of things that we would do on our perfect day. And the whole concept of that was building your life around that perfect day and finding ways to add those perfect things and the things that you love into your day every day. Where if you like getting up and sitting, and she said, I don't look at my phone for 1 hour after I get up every morning. Do you grab your phone when you first wake up?
Yeah. I would say this, I don't do the Facebook and stuff. I don't kind of really do that social. I'll check emails. But I send out my encouragement every day at 8:00. So, but I get up at 6:30. So yes, I think I pick it up more than that. Yeah. Cause I get up between 6 and 6:30 every day.
She was like, I just don't pick my phone up for an hour. She's like, I get up, I drink my coffee, I spend my time with the Lord. And she's like, then I pick up my phone and I catch up on emails or socials or work or whatever. That's when I start my day. And I was like, oh, I sometimes pick my phone up before I even get my feet even hit the floor.
Yeah, and I don't do that.
And I'm like, oh, I've got to be more aware of that. And she was like, I make it a point to do my walk. I go take a walk before I even look at my phone in the morning. I go take a walk. And I'm like, that to me is kind of that grounding that we need. Spiritually, we're grounded in in the Lord.
Yeah.
But that physical grounding, I think we need sometimes that we.
And I do. I used to go in the computer room, and we got a new dining room table, and so I get to sit. I go from the bedroom to the. I have a routine. I do what I do. Wash my mouth guard. I take my medicine, and I can't have anything to eat or drink for an hour with my thyroid medicine. So I've got my routine that I do. I don't do the social thing, but I do pick it up, and maybe I'll not pick it up until 8:00 when I send out my encouragement, things like that. But you're right on the overstimulation. And I also know I don't need any more, especially when I'm mannequin. I don't need any more. I don't need anything else, on top of that. We drove down here yesterday and the rain was ridiculous. I had to turn our flashers on. But whenever we go anywhere together, it always pours. But it was to sit there and have the conversations with Crystal. We had some deep conversation, and then we just had there's something about conversation. I think it's the one-on-one, whether we're on the phone even, but it's so much better. You and I, we talked what we were going to start recording this, whatever, 30 minutes later, you and I and Crystal are talking. It's but it's the conversations. It's the taking time to just meet with people.
Yeah.
This right here, I mean, we went to bed last night and we didn't go to bed at midnight. We cleaned. Well, she cleaned more than I did. But again, and I don't want her going home saying, I'm not taking Blair again because she doesn't clean enough. I told Rick that on the phone. I said, I think I cleaned enough to bring me back. But I can't believe I said that on the podcast. But anyway, it's the conversations that we're having. Do you know? It's that kind of relationship, to build relationships. And I think we get so busy, we don't build relationships like we used to.
I think we rely on social media relationships so much more than I even made the statement to my husband Saturday. We were talking about business stuff because, I'll bounce ideas off on him and he'll give me his feedback. And he was actually in the car with me when I was listening to some people in my mastermind. They were Voxer or like walkie talk. We have like a little app that we can talk back and forth in, and it's kind of like a walkie talkie. And so I was listening to them, and I told him, I said, there's people on the internet, and I don't mean this in a bad way. There's people that I don't know support me so much more than the people that I do know. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I think that, and that's a testament to social media can be a great thing. Like, Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and all this can be really great because I have a lot of people that truly do support me and they are so engaged in my life and they encourage me, and I've never even seen them face to face. And then I have people that I see on a daily basis or on a weekly basis or monthly, or I go to church with that, whatever, like I may not even really interact with them that much. And it's like, wow, like I have people in my life that, honestly, I sit and go, do they really care about me sometimes? Because, and it's not about, I'm not talking about from a business. I'm just talking about in general. I'm not talking about work related. I care less whether you buy stuff from me. Well, I do want people to buy stuff from me. But what I'm saying is I'm talking about the whole gamut of life, doing life together. Mm-hmm. I have people that do life with me that literally never have seen me face to face. And then I have people that see me all the time, and maybe I just get on their nerves. I don't know. But they don't want to do life with me. They could care less, and it's like, okay, and so that's the hard thing, I think, with like, we get sucked in sometimes to the social media aspect, or in my life, I do, because there's people in there that support me and love me like people that I know don't, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And so that can sometimes be a hard thing for me because I will go there sometimes, even though I know my validation doesn't come from people online of how many likes and things I get. I don't mean it that way. I know who I am in Christ. But when you need encouragement sometimes you have to go somewhere like social media to get it as a person, and I see that in other women too. It's not just me. I see it from different people, and I've heard it from different people, and that can be hard. Because I think we lack those conversations, like you said. We miss them in our everyday life, and it's like, well, I'm going to go to the people that will encourage me and will lift me up and are thankful to have me around, because the ones that are in my life, maybe they don't act like they're thankful to have me around. You know what I mean?
Well, I do, but I will say relationship, and I'm much older, but I do know and I'm not talking about her because she's in the other room. Don't know if she can hear me. She could be asleep for all I know. But I love my relationship with her. I love my relationship with Crystal. I'm not her mother. I love her mother. And I'm grateful for her mother and daddy having her. And I'm grateful that God allows me to love her and that she loves me back. And she does love me. Because I've never tried to take the place or anything else. But the relationship we have, obviously, is God-centered. We talk about that. She asks me any kind of question and I'll answer. That can be parent-child, because I'd consider my daughter. But I also know we have the adult relationship. And because of that relationship, she has been able to go out and foster other relationships. Does that have anything to do with me? No. But from our relationship, she's got a confidence to have that. She's not a people person. She's not. Listen, she's a dog whisperer if there ever was one. But because, she is. She's this big and a dog taller than her, and she can, whatever. But it's the kind of thing with her. I just see her growing in her relationships with people. People aren't her favorite thing. But to see her now, that comes from relationship. It comes from relationship. Her smile's bigger now. So, I could talk about her forever, and I won't. I'll talk next time I will, maybe, but I won't now because she's listening. But I think those relationships, when you foster those relationships, it doesn't have to be with a child. It can be with just you and I. We always have conversations before we do. But I guess that would be my great takeaway for today, is that relationships matter. But to have a friend, you got to be one.
That's
you
right.
You can't just expect somebody to be there on the other end of the phone. Now, if something's wrong, you call that person. Don't get me wrong. But you have to foster that. You don't always call just because you need something.
That's right.
Sometimes a simple, hey, I love you.
And to me, friendship is very intentional. Like I think if there's always one person that's saying, hey, can we do this? Can we do that? Can we do this? And then, it's like, you have to also say, well, let's try to do this. Let's come up. Hey, I want to do this. Y'all want to go do it. And I think we have to be very intentional about our friendships and our relationships with other people, because it's easy to get busy, and get sidetracked and go, well, I don't have time. I can't do it this day, or I can't do it that day, or whatever. But there has to be intentionality, and you have to say, we're going to get together on this day, and we're not going to change it, or we're going to go to the beach we're leaving on Easter Sunday to go to the beach, and nothing else is going to change that plan that we're going to the beach. And I know your situation is different because y'all were getting ready for something, but I'm saying, like, if there's something planned, you have to be very intentional about it. And I think that's
the way you stop it. Yes.
People are no longer intentional, and people don't care to break plans. It's like, it doesn't matter if you had plans, or I see this a lot with people now, and maybe this is a soapbox I need to be on a different episode, but people will make plans for like a baby shower or a birthday party or all the things, and then people won't RSVP, and then they'll say they're coming, and then they'll be like, oh, well, something came up. No, something didn't come up. What came up was you just didn't feel like going anymore, And I'm like, people rely on that kind of stuff, and people are expecting you. I tell my husband all the time, I try to show up for other people because I want people to show up for me. And it's because I expect that same thing when it comes to something that I do, and I always want to show up for people, whether it's a wedding or a birthday. Even if I don't feel like going, I make it a point to do it because I want to show up for people, and I want to be there for people. Because there's going to be a time when I'm going to need people to be there for me. But I think we live in a culture now that does not care whether they show up for people.
If they don't, I think it's about me. And then that's the world we live in. Yeah, it is frustrating. It is, for sure. Hey, I'm going to eat today. I have something to eat.
What are you eating?
Are you impressed? Excuse me.
Is it a carrot?
I didn't think about it. No, it's not a carrot. You are such a person. It's not a carrot. I can't believe it's taking me so long.
Or some broccoli.
From Buc-ee's.
Oh, what you got from Buc-ee's?
Let me tell you about our Buc-ee's trip. I'm hoping that
I have a love-hate relationship with Buc-ee's.
Blueberry scone.
Oh, stop. Okay. You're trying to make me jealous with all that sweet stuff over there. I know what you're trying to do.
It is so good. And I don't like to talk with my mouth full. I took a little bite too, goodness. But listen, I'll tell you this before we hang up. Crystal, I told you, Crystal's not a people fan. When you go into Buc-ee's,
Crystal is my spirit animal.
There's 423,313 people in Buc-ee's yesterday. Exaggeration. but not really. And you don't have a broken toe and a hat on Birkenstocks. Crystal, she stayed on me just like this because we were so scared somebody was going to step on my toe. I didn't think about that when I walked in. There were so many people, and they herd you through like cattle. It is a booming business because of that. But it was, if you could have seen us in Buc-ee's. So we came out, and it was like the sigh of relief, and we got sandwiches and stuff and sat in the car and ate. And we didn't want to go anywhere. We just stayed right there in our little nook and cranny and ate Buc-ee's because we were starving. But it was fun to go in. It's fun to watch people. And Crystal said, people watching, is that a bad thing? I said, no. Mm-mm. Of course, I judged a few.
That is a sport. Listen, I think they should have an Olympic sport called people watching. I would win the gold, baby. The gold. Okay.
Listen, Walmart has nothing on Buc-ee's on outfits.
Listen.
And I am not criticizing, but people are proud of Chris. I told Chris, we were walking. Listen, we're squirreling here. We're fixing to hang up, but we were walking this one and went, Crystal, look. And that's like a teenager doing that. But yeah, some of these people, they do not have my fashion sense. I'm just going to leave it right there.
Listen, I stopped at Buc-ee's, but I've only been to the one at the beach, like going to the beach or whatever. And, of course, I went in the summertime and it was like, everybody in the state of South Carolina in that one place, So I stopped at the one in Nashville, like in the middle of the week. Oh, sorry, I knocked my phone off my coffee cup. In the middle of the week, I stopped there by myself. Like there's, I'm thinking, there won't be that many people there. Oh my gosh. I just wanted to use a clean bathroom because they have impeccable bathrooms and get a snack. Well, I was talk about overstimulation. I was so overstimulated by the time I got out of that bathroom. I was like, nope, I'm done.
Crystal, yeah. No, we got food and stuff, but yeah, she was so ready to get out. I got a drink and snack. Yeah, it took her breath, but it was great. We did. But anyway.
But I will try the blueberry scones next time I go.
So good. And I can eat them too. Yeah, they're so good.
We're getting a Buc-ee's. We're getting a Buc-ee's in Spartanburg and Cowpens. So I'm really excited about that.
Cowpens? I thought it was really?
Yeah.
Cowpens?
Yeah.
That's a crazy place.
That's what I was told. Now, I could be just making stuff up, but that's what I was told.
I thought it was like Greenville or something, but anyway.
No. This Cowpens, baby. Right down the road from me. I'll be up in Buc-ee's all the time.
That's like QT. Rick and I used to go to QT for a date.
Oh yeah, we did too. We used to go. You remember when QT first came here? They had the best slushes. I think they've kind of slacked off on their slushes now, but they had the best slushes. We would go all the time and get slushes.
I could have their blueberry muffins is why I could eat there, or their blueberry bagel.
Before we get off, you had a good Easter.
I did.
Good.
I did. I enjoyed it. I did. Yes, I did. Of course, when you go with your family, it's a whole different ballgame when you get to do, with your family. So yes, we did have a good Easter. We did.
Well, good.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah. So send me your Easter prom dress so I can see it. Okay.
I love that prom. I've never thought about that. That's great.
It's the church prom. Yeah.
That's so cool. I never thought
a lady on TikTok say that, and I was like, that is so true.
That is so cool.
Because we do it up right.
We do it up right at Easter.
Match. And I can remember as a kid, man, we wore the bonnet, the frilly socks, my mom dressed us.
My mom dressed us to the nines. I mean, she went out for Easter and Christmas. We'd always look cute. But this is how you know it's something when I would force my foot into those shoes for Easter with my broken toe. I was just so careful. But anyway, it's
Did you wear sneakers, or was it a sneaker?
I didn't because usually Rick buys me, because I gave up shopping for Lent, and which was a friend texted me this morning. We weren't going to talk this long today.
It's okay. It's fine.
She texted me this morning, and I sent out a Monday to-do list on my encouragement. It was talking about being kind, don't hold on to worry, free yourself from this and this. And she said, and she added on that, and she said, yeah, and your much needed TJ Maxx trip. So Crystal's going to take me to TJ Maxx today.
Yay!
And Rick always gets me a pair of tennis shoes for Easter. That's what we did. But this year, no, I didn't, because I couldn't try anything on because I didn't want to go spend money on a pair of tennis shoes that I really can't try on because of my foot. So
yeah. Okay. All right. Well,
listen, I don't have it. I'm gonna tell you something. I don't have any junk. I don't have any junk. I'm good.
No, I don't either. I feel like this has been such a great, last week was a good week. And This week has been a really good week. I guess my junk would be my son wasn't, I mean, if I had to say something, I would say my son had to work on Easter yesterday, which was kind of crappy, because he's a firefighter. So he had shift on Easter. And I hated that he wasn't with us. I didn't like that part, but that wasn't horrible. He's home today, but, it was, I hate that he wasn't able to be with us, on Easter. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, so that's probably my junk. But
yeah, I don't have any. I'm good.
Yeah, it was a good Easter, and I'm thankful that we live on a high. I wrote that this morning, that we live on a high on Easter Sunday, but I pray that we go into Monday with that the Monday after Easter, which is today. I pray that we go in with that same energy and that same remembrance and celebration that we serve a risen Savior, because that same risen Savior that we were celebrating yesterday, we need to celebrate him today and tomorrow and the next day and the next day.
Every day that ends in Y.
Yes, but it's easy to get caught up in life, and we just need to be reminded that, we need to serve him every day and keep Jesus the main thing, because he is the main thing.
I agree.
So I hope everybody has a good week. And locals that are on spring break, yeehaw! Kids are out of school. It's always fun. Maybe they're doing something fun. I'm not really doing anything exciting, but hey, never know what we might get into this week. But okay, well, have a great week, a great night, great day, whenever you're listening. And we love you big.
Okay, and praying Jesus is your joy. See ya.
Bye.